If two people describe an event differently, is there any way to know what really happened? Suppose a professor is accused of sexual assault, but he denies any wrongdoing. Do we continue to engage with him professionally? Do we continue to engage with him socially? How we should react depends in important ways on what we know, and this presents a puzzle. How much can we know? Epistemology is the branch of philosophy that studies knowledge. Within epistemology, one resolution to this puzzle is called contextualism. This thesis holds that whether it is true to say that we know depends on our conversational context. If we're in a non-skeptical conversation, we're more likely to take information at face value. With lower standards for knowledge, we may truly be able to say we know what happened. But in a skeptical conversation, we're more likely to question. With high standards for knowledge, we may say we can never truly know. Whether someone counts as knowing in our context depends on our epistemic standards. If we're skeptical about testimony and thinking about the possibility of false accusations, we create a context where we can say that we don't know what happened. This might suggest inaction. But if we don't foreground skeptical possibilities, we may say we know he assaulted her, which might justify significant reactions. The ability to set the tone of conversations is typically in the hands of the socially powerful. Some of the language we use to talk about sexual assaults reflects this fact. Phrases like innocent until proven guilty and he said, she said tend to raise the standards for knowledge claims, making it easier to ignore bad behavior. This is both a product of and a contribution to rape culture. Just because we can engage in overly skeptical conversations surrounding sexual assault allegations does not mean that we should. What contextualism shows us is how our conversational practices can unfairly bias our actions to favor the accused. It is up to us, epistemologists, anti-rape activists, and philosophers of language, to understand how these practices work so that we can correct these biases and give victims of sexual assault a just hearing.